Welcome to the Nordic Growth Podcast, the go-to show for founders, sales leaders, and entrepreneurs who want to scale smarter, not harder. Each episode dives into real-world strategies, bold insights, and no BS conversations with top executives, investors, and growth experts.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Nordic Growth Podcast. Today we're talking about something we should have been talking about way back. This is something I've been nerding down in for the last 2 years. Maybe not in this detail level and maybe not as professionally as these two guys are doing it. But the goal today is to make your viewers and viewers and listeners to understand the importance to actually find out where you are in terms of AI adoption, enablement, risks, and everything that comes with this super fast development within AI. And it feels like every single minute that goes by, we miss something with AI. And I'm talking to a lot of business owners, and as in many cases, unfortunately, they don't even know where they stand, which makes it very hard to understand where you're going. So I'm starting with an introduction to two guys who are joining for this podcast. So I have Emil and Marius Visser from the company Flairr AI Automation Agency. Guys, do you want to introduce yourselves shortly to the listeners and viewers so they can understand a bit more who you are and where you're coming from?
Yeah, sure. I will start us off. So I'm Emil. We both originally come from South Africa. We moved to the Netherlands about, I would say, 6 or 7 years ago. And for myself, I come more from a business background. So I finished my BSc in business administration in Amsterdam, and then just started working as a business analyst at a transport and technology company. And although I come from a business background, I was always interested in the technical side. So in my spare time, I just taught myself how to code, build automations, you name it. And obviously with the help of Marius, because he is very technical, he has a very technical background. So I was sort of just learning on the job, you can say.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit about myself. Yeah, Marius, you can go next.
Yeah, next is Marius. Hi, thanks Oliver for having us. We basically started Flairr Agency in November last year. We saw the AI gap opening up. We saw that there's a real need for businesses to implement AI. We knew that they had no clue of how to do this, why it was important, and when to do this, and what to deploy, what to develop. So we saw the need immediately. And a bit about me is I've come from a technical background, was a developer and a CTO of companies. And the swift, the implementation of AI was like a natural progression for me from pure development to AI development or AI automation. So that was an easy switch. And that's when we started. We just bit the bullet and said, let's go. And we started the business, and here we are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting. And I love the idea of AI audits. I do a lot of audits with our clients for different things like how prepared are they within business development, sales, marketing, go-to-market strategies. But this AI readiness audit, if we can call it that, I think that's something many of the companies out there are missing. So what are you seeing in the marketplace when you approach clients today? Like, what are the top things they don't think about? Like, or let's start here. Why do most of the companies out there, why haven't they done the AI audits already when you approach them, or have they? What does it look like in the marketplace today?
I don't think they do AI audits per se. I think they kind of dabble in AI. Some of them do. They try some in-house development that normally fails. I don't know if you saw the MIT report, about 95% of AI implementations fail and 5% actually survive or succeed. So that's a big number. And there's many factors to this, but I
It
think
is a big number.
overall, companies try. If they know a little bit and they're brave enough, they try and they do it in-house, but they fail. So there's two ways to look at this. There are companies that try and they fail and then they say enough. And then there are companies that just don't know how to start or how to do any kind of implementation or any kind of ROI calculation even to see if it's going to be feasible. And this is exactly why we do the audits, is to kind of help them to work out a roadmap, work out the opportunities that is available within their own business, and then provide them the ROI so they, before the development starts, they can see what the results will be. They get a roadmap and a timeline and the ROI calc. So I think that is why they should actually do these kind of audits. And we don't call it an audit, Oliver, we call it an assessment. It's an AI assessment, because audit is like a big word, and I feel it's the wrong word. It's an assessment of AI implementations in their business. That's how we call it.
Okay, that's important. Yeah, again, an assessment sounds not as complicated or big
And expensive.
as an
Doesn't
audit.
sound expensive.
And expensive,
Audit.
exactly,
Yeah.
and expensive. Yeah, exactly. So tell us a bit about, like, do you have a framework? Do you have a methodology? Do you have a way of doing the audits that would be valuable for the listeners and viewers to understand? How do you put this together?
Yeah, we have a very defined 3-step approach. So we don't call it a framework or anything else. It's only 3 steps. First one is discovery. So we do discovery workshops. Then after that comes implementation. And after the implementation comes the partnership. So we like to, after the implementation, partner with our clients to provide them long-term support, ongoing tweaks on the actual system, management of the system as well afterwards. And those are the 3 steps we do. So obviously the audits come within the first step, which is the discovery part. And we have 2 different kinds of assessments. I said audits, but it's an assessment. 2 different kinds of assessment. A full assessment that can take 2 to 4 weeks. And we've got a very specific approach for that as well, with 5 steps, and I'll go into that a bit later. But 2 kinds of assessments. The one is the full assessment, and the one is a exploratory milestone. I like the exploratory milestone much better than a full assessment, because number one, it's very focused towards a specific need or a specific workflow. It costs the client much less. They kind of gain confidence with you, trust you more, because they can see the value quickly. And you can implement that quickly. And from there, oftentimes you get into a larger assessment, more processes. But it's the same approach. It's the same approach whether you do one exploratory milestone or a whole full audit.
Interesting. Do you have any? Do you see any specific industries, any specific kind of companies where the need is bigger to do the audits, and also in which area of the business? Like, give us the background. What does it look like out there? Where do you normally start? Industry, like parts of the business?
Yeah, I can tell you, just looking at the MIT report, you can see exactly from the failures, the 90% failures of what you should not do. So that's already taking out 95% of everything. Looking at the 5% that actually survive, you know what to do. So we try to focus on the 5% and just focus on the correct things that we know will be successful. So I think that's an important distinction. Industry-wide, I think that most of the businesses need to look at their back-end processes, and this is where we focus as well. We don't focus on the shiny marketing and sales, and we need to do AI for marketing and sales. We don't even touch that. I mean, that's a whole different ballgame. But where the businesses see real value is in their back-end. That's where the biggest gains are to have, and that's HR and support and compliance. So that's where we try to focus.
I spoke to a company, a Swedish company, Gothenburg-based company, because we were doing some other potential business together, not AI, but sales and marketing stuff. And they said that the most boring industries, those are in the most need of AI work and assessments and stuff. Because everybody, I just want to connect to what you just said there, Marius, that everybody, and specifically in my industry where I am, my niche, sales, marketing, CRMs, digital agencies, customer success, SaaS businesses, and product-led companies, very cool products and very much technology, and everything is shiny and new. That's what people are talking about. But the boring stuff, like, and you can definitely help me out and fill in the blanks here, but like supply chain management, boring industries, like factories connected, warehouses, like keeping stock, and even things like you have a tanker with, you're transporting oil and you have a measurement in the oil barrels. So when they kind of run out, you need to fill them up with new barrels. How many from which part of the country or the world? Like those things, pretty basic, standard, traditional businesses, boring for many people. That's where kind of the money is and the efficiency is. Am I kind of, is that aligned with what you're seeing, or is it just me?
No, it's not just you. It's absolutely that. We call it the unsexy business, not the sexy business.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
So
yes.
if you can do the unsexy things, then you're going to make money, and the company will have the most gains there because they're going to save so much money, and their revenue is going to grow larger because of this. And the unsexy business. That's where we're in the unsexy business.
Yeah. Okay. And tell me more about the. I mean, you have you don't call it a framework. You have a 5-step process, but like, is it normally what does it look like when you start working with clients? Do they approach you? Do you approach them? In the cases that they reach out to you, because you said 90% failure according to the report. I see this in my business as well. All companies, all clients, we can do it by ourselves. We'll manage. We don't want to pay for it. We don't want to invest time. And then like half a year later, they get back to us and say, hey, we're totally screwed up. Can you please help us? And every single time I want to tell them, this is exactly what I told you, but I don't. But I still want to help them. So even if they come back 6 or 18 months later, I'm not being like I told you so, but it's unfortunate, and it would be nicer for the clients, my clients and your clients, if they if they avoided this first mistake, thinking that we can do it ourselves. Is there any? So if I were one of your what are your target companies? Do you have any specific size or regions? What kind of companies do you work with?
50 to 200 SME kind of companies. That's
okay. 52. Okay. Sweet spot. So, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Emil.
Yeah, I just want to elaborate a bit on that because I think most of these companies, like you mentioned, they think they can just do it in-house, but they actually don't know what to automate, and they sort of get stuck, and they try it themselves and then it fails. So backtracking back to Marius's first point, that discovery phase, the step one, that's really where the let's call it the assessment shines, because that's where we actually have the interviews. So we have the interviews with their employees, some of their employees, and then also with the management level to find like a whole scope and then see their processes. And from the processes, we draw out a whole process map. And from that, we can see all the bottlenecks. And then we put this whole thing in a matrix, and then we can see what is the quick wins. So basically, that's the highest impact with the lowest amount of effort or time to implement this. So we focus on the quick wins. We implement those first, and then the big wins, which is also high impact, but it takes longer to implement this. So that is really the value of doing this assessment, because most of the people, they don't know what to do, but they know they need to implement AI or just automations, even if it's without AI, into their business to stay competitive.
Yeah. It's basically every single company you talk to, we need to do something with AI. So what are you going to do? We have no clue. That's basically where people are, and so I think this assessment is a really good thing to think about. And like for the listeners and viewers now, then, if you would like, do you have any warning signs? Like, if I were a company with 85 employees, your target market, I would be the one who potentially would invest in working with you. Could you give me maybe, I don't know, if it's 2 or 3 or a couple of signs within my company when I need to do something? It could even be that before you start doing this internal thing you think you're going to be able to do by yourself, check these boxes. If you can't check all of those boxes, you're going to fail. You're going to be one of the 90% failures. If you can check them, you're all good. Like, do you have any for the listeners, do you have any, like, try this for yourselves, and if you can check only 1 or 2, do not go there. Talk to us instead. Like, is there any quality assurance way of like finding out where are we? Can we do it? Do we need help?
Well, I think to know if you need an automation, you need to check where am I doing the most manual, repetitive work. So
Yes.
this is things that is just mundane. You do the same thing over and over. It doesn't really require creativity or anything like that. So I think that is really a good starting point. So if you tick off some of these boxes to say, I'm doing manual work here, and there's a set process. So every step is the same. It's not like one use case it goes here, and the other one, if something else happens, then go here. And it's very uncertain. Then it's also not ideal for AI or automation, but it's still possible. But I think knowing these is difficult for a company to sort of pinpoint where to do the automation, and that's when an assessment is required.
If I can add on to that, the very first step in our approach to do assessments is the initial interviews with the CEO or the let's say the C-suite or the directors. But that's not the important one. The most important interview is with all of the people on the ground, the operators and the guys doing the thing, because the CEO and the ops manager, they a little bit removed from these people. So I would say for any company, if they want to know that if they need AI, go and interview your own staff members, your own employees. Go and ask them, hey, tell me exactly what's your process. If they don't have an SOP, a standard operating procedure of exactly what to do every single day, that's where you can automate. So if they cannot explain or map out their own process and exactly what they do and the time that it takes for each of these ones, then you need an automation, absolutely, and you can inject AI in there as well. We oftentimes just do an automation without AI, and sometimes if we add AI in there, so it's custom work. Sometimes AI isn't even needed; just automations will make their life easier.
That's a really important point. I actually, just before this call, I did a LinkedIn live in Swedish for a Swedish event where I spoke about agents, AI agents, and the usage. And one of my slides was what is the difference between traditional old school automation and AI automation? Because I think that's maybe not super relevant every single time, but it's nice to know, because people are always saying, we're doing AI. No, you're not. You're doing automation. No, we're doing AI. We have AI tools. No, you have an automation tool. They just rebranded into AI so they can sell more licenses. So everybody's going to buy it because it's AI. What is and I guess you can get pretty far without AI in many companies, right? Automations. Do you have any basic examples in a traditional company you talk to where this is a standard automation setup? Do you have any use case or any examples on what they can do already tomorrow and not complicate things and save time from the beginning?
Yeah, I'm going to use an example. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but I will. Won't mention names. So they came to us and said, look, we need AI to solve this problem for us because we have a ERP system, and we need to pull the data out of the ERP system and then put it into a spreadsheet. And then from the spreadsheet, we need to find out all these answers and reports. And I said, you don't need AI for this. All you do is from the ERP, pull it into a database, another database that you can query quickly with some standard reporting, and there you go. No AI involved. Because AI is not going to look at your spreadsheet and magically tell you all the answers. It's not going to happen like that. AI is notoriously difficult to summarize and total spreadsheet data. So it's the wrong use case. So that's right there.
I think what's also useful here is when we spoke to them, they were really set in their ways. So they were really focused on taking the information from the ERP system into the spreadsheet. But we all know that spreadsheets are not the best. And then simply we just suggested, why do we not get rid of the spreadsheet and then just take the information from the ERP and put it in a CRM, which is way easier to manage. And then like, oh yeah, we can actually do that. So I think businesses also really get sort of stuck in with what they are used to, and they don't really want to change. So yeah, that's just
I think they hear about this AI thing and they want to put AI onto everything, and that's one of the reasons that it fails, because they're trying to take a certain AI thing and hammer it into all the little holes that they think it can work in, and this never works. So that's one of the pain points I see many people have. They know they have to do something, they just don't know how to do it, and then they do it wrong.
It has to do with how, what, and why. And the thing is, what are we going to do? We put it in a spreadsheet and then we export it into the CRM, and then we're good. That's the what. But like the why is the first one. Why do you need automation? Like, why do you think that you need AI? We're going to save time. Or maybe you're not saving time by doing it with a spreadsheet. Maybe there are quicker ways of doing it, if you even need to do it. Like and this is where we come back to the assessments, or the kind of the overview of the processes and everything. In my experience, in my line of business, which is sales, marketing, business development, growing companies, it has a lot to do with processes as well. And in many cases, exactly as you said, they're looking at the wrong way of solving the problem, because this is the way they've always done it. And maybe they even overcomplicate it, and they don't need to, because there are simpler ways of doing it. So as you said, maybe remove the spreadsheet and connect directly to the CRM. Why are you not doing that? I don't know. And everybody loves tools, and every new AI tool on the market, which is, I don't know, a couple of thousand per hour, feels like, coming out on the market. You buy a tool and then you implement the tool, and it's not working. So we try another tool. It's not working. We try another tool. It's all about not doing the discovery you guys spoke about. I see this every single day as well. So your delivery, is it, do you have a tool? Do you have a solution? Is the audit a way into the tool you're selling, or are you using the tools the client has and helping them build? What is the, if we move from the audit or the assessment into kind of the way you help the client, the outcomes and the production of, like, the end results.
Yeah.
What are you using to help them?
Let's quickly just finish off on the assessment if we can. So the first one is the interviews, and then comes the opportunity matrix. And from the opportunity matrix, we as Emil said, we look for the low-hanging fruit, the ones that will have the highest value and the quickest implementation. From there, we do the roadmap. Roadmap has got a timeline on it, so we can take like a sequential timeline and implementation timeline of all the different opportunities, string them together and say, this one will take 2 weeks, this is going to take a week. And from that, we do the physical opportunity. So each opportunity gets a deep dive. We take let's say the 2 or 3 or 4 top ones, and we really show the before process and the after process with AI injected, so they can see the physical difference in the processes. Sometimes there also needs to be some training because the process is going to change. And then lastly, we give them an ROI summary. Now, the ROI summary is super important because it lists all of the opportunities and also shows the exact time they're going to save, the cost of the actual implementation, the money value of that time they're going to save, plus the actual ROI calculations, which includes revenue uplift and revenue acceleration of redeploying these resources where they are saving time. So all of that is the outcome of our assessment. That's our assessment approach. And the outcome is really an end-to-end implementation, if it's a full assessment of, let's say, 6 processes, and they see exactly what it's going to cost them, how long it's going to take, and what the estimated return on investment will be before we start any development. So that's the first part in our approach, is obviously the discovery, and the next step is the implementation, and this is where you asked your question, right? So the implementation itself then takes, let's say, the first or the highest value implementation that we got from the ROI summary, and the client says, yes, I want to implement this, and we start implementing that specific process for them. And at this stage, they know exactly where the implementation will be, what will be injected where, and what will be the outcome, and what it's going to cost them, and how long it's going to take. So that's the first implementation we do. And then afterwards comes the partnership. Once we get some trust with them, we do the partnership, and then we say, look, we're in it for the long run. Let's do the rest of your implementations as well, as we laid it out in the ROI summary. And that just flows one thing to the other.
To give the listeners and the viewers something they can relate to, what are the normal objections you get when you speak to clients? When you say, hey, this is what we do assessments to make exactly what you explain now, and what are they saying when they're saying no? What are the objections and hopefully a lot of the listeners are gonna feel like, wow, that's me. That's no good. Yeah. Like, what are the normal ones they shouldn't say, but they always do?
Yeah, I think the first thing is they ghost you, so they don't reply to you at all. You cannot get hold of them, so that's difficult. They just don't want to speak to you anymore. I think it's price. They feel that paying for an assessment it feels like consultancy, and you don't get anything out of it. I then normally say is, look at the ROI. Look at what you're going to gain from doing this implementation. We've not done anything yet. And then they say, no, it's too much. We cannot afford it. And then I say, okay, let's do an exploratory milestone. This is just one of these implementations. We charge you a little upfront fee just so that you have skin in the game. We have some skin in the game. We have some risk. And then when this works and we do the actual POC after the exploration, then we deduct that initial fee from the actual implementation. And they're much more willing to go that route, because then they get something, they know the value of what they're getting, and then they can also see if they can trust you and work with you to do the next level and the next level of implementation. So that to me is normally the biggest thing. They just say, no, it's too much, we cannot afford it. And they don't trust you from a bar of soap, so why should they spend all of this money on an assessment? So that's it.
And how do we? And how do you then? I mean, before this, how do you make them? Do you have any? You said that you do a smaller version of a milestone or exploratory. I totally agree that you need to invest something to get value, because if you do it totally for free, nobody's gonna see any value in it at all. Even if it's the best delivery ever, if it's free, it's free. Nobody's gonna see a value. So you need to pay for it. You have, as you said, you need to have skin in the game. And how do you tackle this then? Like, how do you, what do you tell them when they don't see the value and even not want to pay for the small? Like, do you have any business cases? Do you have any like models of ROI on similar companies you've been doing work for? What is the what do you get back to them with after that kind of an objection?
Normally, the ones we've done, as soon as we show them the ROI calcs, it's a kind of to and fro, and we get the ROI calculations from the actual data, business data that we get from the guys on the ground. So we know exactly how long it's taking them, how much time we can save them with this integration or implementation or AI injected new process of theirs. And once they see that, they can see the value, and then they normally don't say no. So the objection is normally on the bigger assessment of a 2 or 3 or 4 week, especially if they've been burned before and they've tried this before and they've got maybe one naysayer in the company that says, look, I'm the AI guru in the company, and we've tried this and it doesn't work in our business. Then you shut down right there. But for the exploratory milestones, I mean, it's going to cost them pennies on the cent. In the end, once you've done that and you've done that assessment for them, which is like a mini assessment just on one process, as I said, they see the value directly. And then we run the MVP or the pilot, and from then it's good sailing, because then they're very happy. So we don't get real kickback from the exploratory milestone, because it's not a lot of money for them and there's no risk for them. Another important thing is that we try and minimize the impact on their existing processes. So we try to implement a parallel process in the pilot and not have them to do too much change management or training, so that we can run the two side by side and compare the two with apples. And that also helps, because then the risk to them of changing back to the old system is minimal. And that's also important. It's also something we do. Emil, anything else to add on that?
No, I think you mentioned most of it. I think once you get on the call with them the first time, in the beginning, start of the meeting, they're a bit hesitant. They don't really know like what the opportunities are. But once you start speaking to them, they start opening up, and then they start switching their mindset. And then they start saying, oh, but here's an opportunity. Here we're doing some manual work. Maybe we can automate this and this and this. And then they're much more willing to speak to you and then go forward with the project. So I think just switching their mindset is the most difficult part.
I think Emil's quite right. And we spoke to a customer this week, and I could see the light bulbs going on as we were explaining more and more. I could see that they kind of understand automatically, okay, but we can do this here and we can do this here. But it was a battle to get them on that first call. It was a real struggle because they don't want to do it. They don't know you. They don't trust you. They think they're going to waste their time. So that's the biggest objection I think that we find, is just to get the audience with the businesses. And once we start speaking to them, like we're speaking with you, they kind of get it, and they understand that it will be worth their while.
Yeah, and I as I'm understanding it in this call we're having, it's again pretty similar to what I'm doing when I'm talking to clients as well. They really don't have the, like, they most of the time they know that they want to do this and this. Can you help us to automate? Can you build this AI solution? But in most cases, they don't know how to do what they're trying to do. Let's take a workflow. A workflow is several different steps connected to one another. It could be a tree structure, think processes, and for the listener, not for you guys, you know this obviously, but it's a process of different steps, and you can go different ways in the tree structure, and you can end up in a final outcome of doing this, right? So most of the clients, and if somebody approaches me in an area I don't know, I wouldn't know either, talking to a specialist or expert, you could reach a goal in 50 or 100 different ways. And the client maybe chooses 3 or 4 of those because they've always done this. There are probably 25 other ways to do it. And let's find out which one of those 25 would be the most efficient one for you. I mean, as a client, I would say, yeah, probably. And this goes for all suppliers of any kind of services and stuff, is that you have done this for X number of companies of similar sizes during X number of years, and you have this experience. So the probability that you would find the best path or solution or scenario is obvious. And the client who doesn't have all these scenarios can't choose between them. They might have 4 and you have 54. So this is probably for the ones listening, I would say this is one of the biggest challenges I'm seeing as well, talking to clients. And I know that my clients, when they're talking to their clients, see the same challenge. It is that they've already decided that this is the way we want to do it. This is the way we want to build it. So this goes back to the assessment you're talking about. So and I guess you're doing, like, if somebody wants to get in touch with you and have a call with you to understand more what you're doing, I mean, that's obviously free of charge to have a call and discuss. And in those calls they have with you, like how many of those would you say actually understand and potentially even start working with you? Like, let's say that you have 10 calls. Like, out of those 10 calls, if you have access to them and can explain a bit more, like from top of your head, like how many of those would actually have a follow-up call and discuss more in detail, like they've understood?
You want to answer? Just some stats?
Doesn't have to be scientific. It could be like, is it half of them? Is it out of 10? Is it 8? What's your gut feeling?
10%, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
I think if they already know they need to implement AI, so they already have made that switch, or that mindset switch, then the percentage is high, because they know, okay, I want to do this. They're coming in with a positive mindset. They've already booked the meeting. So yeah, I think there's way more success in that. But if they sort of just feeling you out, they don't really know what we do, for example, and they come in the call and they ask, but what do you guys actually do? Then we already know, okay, there's probably not going to be a follow-up, or it's going to take months. They first need to speak with their colleagues. So then they come back to us a month.
So let me ask you this then. If you have somebody at a company you're working with, so you probably have different scenarios, and you have somebody who really wants to do this within your potential client, your company. Who would that be? Is it different people? Is it, you said, on the floor, or is it the C-suite? Who's normally driving this change within the companies you start working with?
It can be the CEO, because he needs to report to the board, and they're putting pressure on him to perform and to implement AI. So lots of cases it is the CEO, but mostly you speak to the operations manager, the support manager. These are the guys that have the pain points, and they are willing to listen to you, and they get it. They get it really quickly if you explain this to them. I just have to add something quickly that Emil said, and we switched to exploratory milestones about 2 months ago only. Before that, we were trying to sell AI as a product. So we would contact people and say, hey, do you want a voice agent for your business? And those, we had very little success with that, because it's not what we're trying to sell them something that they don't really need, unless they do need it, but they've got other pain points. And so we decided, let's rather listen more, talk less in the first instance, and then let them explain to us what their problems are. And then we try and explain to them where we can help them with different solutions. So we try not to go in with preconceived solutions already, but rather build custom solutions for their pain points and their difficulties that they are having in their own business. And that works much better. Our success rate has just gone up.
Of course, and the question you would ask, instead of like, if you connect this to my world, instead of saying, would you like to buy a voice agent, I would say, would you like to cut your customer success costs with 35% after 3 months, but still have the same quality of service and delivery? Of course I would. Okay, that's interesting. Why are you saying that? And then you can do the discovery. So it's always, and I'm also, for the listeners and viewers, like, think about it even from your perspective, as where do I want to end up? Like, what is my challenge today? Where do I want to end up? Regardless of the products or the solutions, I want to move from A to B. And this is a good place to be. This is a challenging place to be. And when you've made your mind up, and also, as you said, what are the manual recurring processes, steps I'm doing every single day that are low value tasks, that gives me no energy, where I can't be creative, where I can't do my best work. This should be replaced in some way and automated away. If it's AI or automation, I don't know. Maybe I should speak to Marius and Emil anyway, because regardless if it's automation or AI, they're going to be able to help you in step one to understand exactly which way to go, which path to go, and be open to the fact that the solutions we've been doing for a couple of years might not be the only ones feasible moving into the future. So, okay. And if you would give your champion, like the operations manager, who can't break through to the C-suite or to the owners or whatever, like, do you have any tools for those people to help them to get more people on board within their company?
Yeah, our ROI calculator is the winner. I mean, that is
ROI calculator.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the best.
Yep.
I mean, if they can show the CEO, if I implement this, this is the result I'm going to get, that's always a winner. We've got a free ROI calculator on our site. You can put your values in there. It will calculate ROI for you for 3 different implementations. And that normally helps quite a bit. They can see the value right there, and then they take it further and take it up the chain.
All right. So, I mean, we've spoken about. I have one final question, which I think is in general very interesting, and this is the take on. We've touched on it already, but like, what are you, when I say AI and agents and automations and development, where do you see, if you would have a crystal ball and look maybe 3 years into the future, where are we going with AI, and how should we think about this? It's a very, very broad question, but what are your your experience from now and moving into the visionary future? What is the world going to look like in a business within 3 to 5 years?
I can answer that with one word. It's actually 2 words, one sentence. I don't know, because it goes so quickly. We don't know where it's going to go. What I do know is that AI will not replace people, but AI will replace a lot of mundane tasks in different processes, and that's a given. We have to repurpose these people, and by repurposing the people inside of the business that the AI has now automated, or we've automated with some AI, repurposing these people will give you more revenue. And that's, I think most businesses need to think about AI in that way to help their business grow revenue and cut costs. I think that's the future in the next year at least.
Who are the most, which industry or which role or which job title or position is at most threat, and who of us can still relax maybe for at least a year or two?
I think we all can relax, but I think that the biggest industry disruption will be in service desk, help desk, and maybe for me, I would say document collection or KYC processes where documents are collected and need to be validated. That process is going to be automated, and also the help desk very much. Without a doubt, RAG is getting better and better. Retrieval augmented generation getting better and better. And the agents are getting smarter and smarter, although some people might differ with me and say they're getting more stupid and more hallucinating. But we don't know where it's going to go. But automation is here to stay, and I think the company sizes will get smaller, and you'll get more specialized people, and repurposing people for sales, get more salespeople in.
I think plumbers are safe for now. So
exactly what I was supposed. Yeah, plumbers, painters, like any like working with your hands. Football players, athletes. I've seen those robots trying to play football and do stuff. We're not really there yet. We're going to get there, but we're not there yet. So anything which is seen as a more basic traditional work and not very cool, like a consultant or somebody like myself, is really at risk if I'm not thinking about what I'm doing and trying to evolve as a professional. Because I totally agree, because I see this as AI being exactly what you said, Marius. AI being the one taking care of, like, there is no human being who can compete with an AI digging into tons of data, pulling out information and presenting a number to you. Boom. It's going to be 4 seconds. If a human is going to do that, it's going to be a month. Yeah. So that's not even competing. However, I see AI as the worker, like the process worker, the big data investment, and I see humans as artists.
Yeah.
So I see ourselves as the ones like painting, doing the painting, thinking about like doing in my world like the branding campaigns where you make people feel something when you see a brand or you see a color or something like that. Like to put that together and then let the AI do kind of the mundane large volume work for now.
Yeah.
For now. So I think that we need a lot less people in the companies, but the ones who are going to be relevant are going to be really good at what they do.
Absolutely. And they will be able to manage these AI employees, because we're going to get many AI employees that do different jobs.
Exactly.
And we need to see them as
Yes.
employees as well. And they need to be managing these employees to do the right thing and to guide them and orchestrate them. And that's I think a new job title that will emerge.
No, definitely. I mean, if you see AI as a tool, you've already lost.
Yeah.
If you see AI as a colleague, you're starting to understand. And that's what I'm seeing as well. Like, no, we don't need any more tools. No, AI is not a tool. It's your colleague.
Yeah.
It's the one you're going to be working together with or managing or whatever it's going to be. I see a future where, let's say that we're going to book, we're going to go for dinner, the three of us. And I'm going to just tell my agent, which is not going to be a phone anymore. It's going to be a wearable or something where the phone is just going to be a storage for data, like, and it's going to connect to the cloud and everything. So I'm going to basically say or think even, I want to go to dinner at 7 p.m. tonight with Emil and Marius, and boom. And pretty quickly after that, I'll have a scheduled dinner booking in my phone. You'll have the same. Emil is going to have the same. No questions asked, no sending SMSs back and forth, because we'll all have our own agents and they will know exactly what we like, where we want to go, and we know everything about you as well. And they will talk to one another. Like websites, I'm going on a rant here, but I have to, like this is an AI. Websites, they don't need to be beautiful and branded. They need to have a lot of data and information, because agents are going to be browsing the websites, not humans.
Yeah. And
so,
I do agree 100%. We've got an AI like that already that can be your personal assistant. There's many out there that you can use. Voice notes, leave it a voice note and it will do whatever you want. But important point that you made there is MCP, Model Context Protocol, has come to stay. And this is the way that that AI will speak to databases. AI will speak to ERP systems via MCP, and also to each other via MCP. So each company will have an MCP server, and we'll have MCP clients all over the place. And this will be the communication. At least that's for the moment. It looks like that. It might change completely in 6 months, but for now, I think that's the case. And these agents, as you say, will speak to one another. We'll each have our own one, and we just communicate with it. It's an assistant, and it will do the job for us and do all of the booking, etc. Yeah, fantastic.
So would you say that some of the outcomes when you work with clients are actually building agents?
We do agentic RAG, for instance, where especially if it's a large contact center where they've got different kinds of processes or different kinds of products, we build an agent specifically just for that one product with all its manuals and all its data. So it's a specialized agent. So there's an orchestrator agent, and then we've got all these specialized agents underneath, and the orchestrator decides on the intent of the query, which agent am I going to call? What is this about? Is it product 1, 2, 3? Calls that one, and they do their little job and passes the data back. So we do agentic RAG already, and that's the way to go. I think we're going to have specialized agents that do one or two things really, really well, and we can keep them within bounds. So really gate them so that they don't go off the rails and don't hallucinate too much. Because as soon as there's too much in the prompt, then these agents, they kind of lose the plot. So keep them tight, give it one job, and let it do it well.
Like a junior employee. You spoke about the SOPs.
Yeah.
Give them the frameworks, like the way to do this, like the checkboxes to go through. I mean, there is a reason, maybe not only junior employees, but there is a reason why a pilot goes through the checklist every single time. Like a pilot flies a plane for 35 years, still goes through 70 or 80 checklist items every single time, because the one time you miss one of those and something happens, I mean, it's boring to most people to use checklists and SOPs and stuff. And this is also a reason why you should actually automate this. But you need to start with having the SOPs. So for the ones not standard operating procedures or like checklists. So you have to have them, but then it's going to be even more fun to automate it, because then you don't need to do it at all, because you can put it into automation.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining. I hope it's been valuable. I know it's been valuable for the listeners and the viewers. And just to finalize, where can we find you if we want to have this first connect call to discuss a bit more and understand a bit more? You mentioned the ROI calculator as one thing we could try out, but also if we want to meet with you guys. So the name of the company is Flairr AI Automation Agency. We just what is the URL?
Yeah, it's Flairr.pro.
.pro. Flairr.pro. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. And going there, they can connect with you and book a meeting and schedule a call and trying to find out. And this is also where they can find the ROI calculator.
Yes. I just have to say, Flairr is spelled with a double R, like Fiverr double R. So it's FL.
Fiverr Flairr. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. At the end. So
Flairr. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. It's been very, very valuable for me as well to understand a bit more what your process looks like and what kind of challenges companies are seeing out there. So if you're listening, if you're a company, I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly, but like from 50 to a couple of hundred employees, you would be a really good fit. And again, I want to emphasize the reason why you're on this call and I don't know, Capgemini or KPMG or not on the call is because I work with clients who don't want to waste millions of dollars to get a PowerPoint presentation they can do nothing with. So this is the reason, because the listeners to this Nordic Growth Podcast are small and mid-sized companies who don't want to waste money, but they want to invest smartly. And that's the reason why this is a perfect segment, I think, where you also can do a lot of things without running into the corporate walls and you know everything about that.
Yes.
So if you're a company in that size, reach out to Emil and Marius, or reach out to me as well, and we'll see if we can put something together. And thank you again for joining. It's been super valuable. Have a great rest of the day, and speak to you soon.
Thanks, Oliver.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time. That was very fun.
Thank you.